Hello, my name is Roshan Narayan, and thank you for joining us on In 20. If you're watching us on YouTube, do
that back foot and protect and pass the ball very, very simply. He is brilliant. If you put leg.
Thanks for joining us on In 20. If you're watching us on YouTube, do turn on the notifications. And if you're watching us on the Rocket Post, thank you very much. You left some comments on the Rocket Post Facebook page to a question which we asked, and that is, what is going on at Manchester United? Alan says, the Glazers, Ed Woodward and Solskjaer, they're not willing to pay big bucks for world-class players, but they paid 80 million to buy an average defender. The Glazers and Woodward know nuts about soccer. No, it's called football, Alan. While Solskjaer doesn't have managerial skills nor visions, they're taking United to the dark ages, of course, and this is a bad thing for Manchester United fans. Julian, who sent in another comment, says, it's definitely Ed and the Glazers. Winning is not in their priorities in today's market. We cannot afford to negotiate and bargain much when other clubs with super rich owners just pay and take the best players. You want to be amongst the best in order to be the best, and you have to compete financially. Else, it's pity that Man United will become another, oh dear, mid-level Premier League team. Someone who's happy about reading those comments is a former Manchester City and Leeds right back, Danny Mills. First and foremost, congratulations for your team. 4-3, what a game against Fulham. That's Leeds. But we'll start off with your favorite team, Manchester United. What is going on there? I mean, I'm sick and tired about talking about Manchester United and the problems. It's always Ole's fault. It is Paul Pogba to blame. It is Harry Maguire, as a fan has pointed out. What is going on at Manchester United?
It's incredible, Roshan, isn't it? That we were talking, I don't know, end of the season where everybody's, oh, wow, look at this Manchester United side. They're going to start challenging Manchester City and Manchester United next year. Mason Greenwood, Rashford, Martial looks like the real number 9. Pogba's coming good again. Bruno Fernandes. They've now got Danny van der Beek as well in there. Wow, what exciting times. Get beaten in your first game against Crystal Palace and it's all doom and gloom. It wasn't a good performance by any stretch of the imagination. I said at the back end of last season,
yes,
a lot of their games were against the lower half or the lower teams in the Premier League, and I think maybe that's why their results were a little bit better than some others. But there's, it just looks like they're a way off. Pogba, Van der Beek, and that midfield. And obviously Fernandes. How do you fit them in? It's 3 attacking players. Who do you play where? Who is going to be the holding midfield player? Where is the balance in that? Lindelof is not good enough to win you the Premier League. It's a fact. I don't think that's not going to be the case. When you look at the ease that Wilfried Zaha went past him and cuts inside, Harry Maguire doesn't then help out his teammate to put a tackle in. So they are. I thought Chelsea would be better than they were so far this season. Arsenal are improving. Manchester United, I think, as it stands at the moment, are going to have another big task to finish in the top 4.
United, nothing seems to be fixed. Where do you blame? Put the blame at? Is it Ed Woodward with his ability to get everything wrong when it comes to making a decision based about football? I'm talking about Lukaku, Sanchez, other players. You brought in, as you mentioned, another player who's attacking in nature when they've completely forgotten about the fact that there is no backup for Matic. Whatever people say about Fred, I don't think he's good enough. That's just my opinion. Scott McTominay is another question. And I mean, I know you think I hate him. I generally don't hate him, Danny. But my point is, what is he in this team? Is he a Michael Carrick? Is he a Roy Keane? Should he be more like Matic? We spoke about this exact same thing 3 months ago, and there's still no solution to it. So who is to blame?
I think it's come down to recruitment. Who is recruiting these players? What is the plan, the long-term plan, the long-term vision for the football club? Their complete inability to get a deal over the line astonishes me at times. When you look at what Liverpool have done, when they've come out, Liverpool, and they've gone, right, okay, we want this player. We'll keep it under the radar a little bit, and we will just go and sign Thiago Alcantara. We'll get it done. Simple as that, sorted, no bother. Okay, they get that business done. They then do a little bit of other business as well. Tottenham, out of nowhere, signed Gareth Bale. Nobody was really expecting that. But that's obviously been going on for some time. They've signed Reguilon as well, the left back, which is magnificent. Other teams seem to get their recruitment. Look at what Everton have done.
Yep.
Ancelotti identified the problem, said that our midfield is not good enough. So he goes out, he gets Alain, who he's worked with before, James Rodriguez he worked with before, and Decore that has the energy, and is box to box and breaks things up and can play as well. And suddenly you've got real balance in that side. And either Ollie's not identifying the targets that he wants to bring in, or he's given a list to the board and they're not getting the business done. And the Jadon Sancho thing, I think it is, again, a prime example of that.
Okay, that means is Manchester United a club without any money whatsoever they can go spend? Because that can't be the case. You've got Alexis Sanchez. That ridiculous money was getting paid.
Yeah, they've got huge amounts of money. They're still one of the richest clubs in the world.
Is it being pumped back into the club?
Well, I think it is, but they just seem a little bit rudderless in what direction. It's all about Jadon Sancho. We're going to bring him in. He's going to be the player that we want. Well, this is the fee. 3-4 months later, they're still going on about it. Oh, are we going to get him? No, you're not. Unless you pay £110 million, he's going nowhere. End of. It's simple as that. What other managers are doing? When you look at what Klopp does and the way that obviously he has a huge steer on who he brings in to the football club. Ancelotti, we just mentioned. A lot of people criticise José Mourinho, for the way that he plays and the things that he does. Gareth Bale's gone back to Tottenham to play for José. It's not just gone back to Tottenham. It's not about money. This is not about any other deal. He wants to play football. Right. He could have gone anywhere in the world. But he has forced this deal to happen, and he obviously wants to play for Mourinho. Do players want to play for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
So that basically breaks down to one thing then. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer strong enough as a character to go to the board and say, listen, I can implement all my style of play if you get me the right footballers? Or is it a clear sign that Ed Woodward has just looked at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and gone, I can control him, I can make him do what I want, and he will do it because he doesn't have a voice?
I think that's a bigger part of it, I would say. Let's be honest. If we're honest, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have considered himself fortunate to get the job in the first place. That one of the biggest clubs in the world, very, very little experience, and he's thrown in at the deep end. And then he got the job on a full-time basis. This was a reaction appointment rather than anything else. This wasn't long-term planning. They weren't looking at him going, right, okay, look at what Arsenal have done with Mikel Arteta. Right, okay, we've identified the manager, the style of play. We're going to get this guy in. We'll give him 6 months, and then we'll start to give him money to bring the signings in that he wants and start to play. Manchester United haven't really brought in any signings. I look at them and think, left back is still a little bit of an issue for them. They've got good right backs, but he played, Fosu Mensah at right back when you've got Wan-Bissaka that's on the verge of the England squad. Lindelof and Maguire as a partnership do not look good enough. Mason Greenwood, there's obviously been 1 or 2 issues with them. On their day, Man United can be absolutely fantastic. They got to 3 semi-finals last year.
Yep.
Didn't win a single one, and didn't really look like winning one either. And they've got to recruit and go to that next level.
Okay, just a simple question, and then we'll end it with Manchester United because our numbers of viewers are going up and down every time we say something positive about United and then negative about United. So let's try and end on a positive with United. And I don't mean any disrespect to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
They won't get relegated, Roshan. Don't worry.
I'll keep quiet, you Leeds supporter. But is it going to be a case of bring in Pochettino now so he's got at least a good season in to change things around? And like you said, way back, he is a manager that can get the best out of players.
I mean, they have to start looking at it. If they get to, they're not. I don't think they're going to make a change right now. And things maybe they've got some good players in there, but Ollie has to find the balance. He's got to, especially against the better teams, work out how to play against them on a consistent basis. Manchester United haven't been consistent enough. Clearly, last season shows they've got the ability to finish third in the league, but Arsenal are getting stronger. Chelsea should be getting stronger once they get a little bit more settled. So I think nothing's going to happen to Manchester United before Christmas.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to Everton. When you watch Alan play, Does he remind you of a very young Gilberto Silva?
He's a very good player, and I think I said it, on one of these in the N20 early on before the season started. But with the recruitment, there's a chance they could finish in the top 6, and people laughed at me a little bit.
I was one of them that laughed.
Yeah, that's true. But suddenly now, that it'll still be difficult because there are some good teams in there. But suddenly that's realistic, and that's a good opportunity for them. But Calvert-Lewin has obviously been given loads of confidence by the manager. He's in good form. Defensively, they've got a very, very good left back. Seamus Coleman at right back. Defensively, they've still got one or two things to solve, but I think that will happen. But Alan has come in. It's the sitting midfield player. You've then got Doucouré alongside that is going to be all over the place, up and down, doing what he needs to do. And then you've got James Rodriguez. He's got untold ability. It is magnificent the way that he plays. So suddenly, you bring in signings that all work, that have balance, and you can see the direction and the things that they're trying to do.
Is he a young Gilberto Silva? Danny, a simple yes or no question. Make me feel happy.
No, he's an Alan. That's it. And he's very, very good in his own right.
How fast has Carlo Ancelotti changed it for you? Because we just spoke about Ole, and it's taking some time for him to figure things out. Does this show how good of a manager he is, especially a man manager, which he's well known for?
Yeah, well, I think he's obviously used his contacts and his relationships with James Rodriguez and Alan, obviously, that he's worked with before. Yep. When you talk about, everyone says he's very, very relaxed. We've often heard about tales of him sat back in his office chair having a cigar at, Chelsea, wherever it might be. But that's the sort of character that he is, and players buy into that. Everton have done some very, very good business. They've been building this for a couple of seasons, obviously since sort of Marcel Brands, the sporting director, came into the football club. They're now looking to go to the next level. They've got money. It's been maybe poorly spent in the past. They've made some expensive errors in signings, but now with Ancelotti's expertise and the recruitment policy that they have, they've got some young players coming through as well. They've made some really good signings, and they now look like a balanced side, if nothing else.
And that is a word, balance, you can't use for a team like Chelsea, because the guy in the gym that's always upper body like heavy and like twigs for legs?
You mean like
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Have you not seen my legs? I'm called Chicken Little for a different reason. But that is, I hate you, Danny, but that is what Chelsea is all about. I mean, that goalkeeper, time in and time out, Kepa. Peter Cech came out and said at the start of the season he's going to be in the squad because he's still got a lot to prove. So
he's got more than a lot to prove.
that mistake. It's not one. It's not two. It's a lot of things that have cost Chelsea some big points.
Yeah, I was working here in England over the weekend, and the big issue about Kepa was, it's the price tag. The price tag weighs very, very heavily on him. It's ridiculous. It's got nothing to do with the price tag. He's not good enough. Simple as that. But his skill set. He's a good goalkeeper. But I'd like the viewers to tell me, when was the last time you saw Kepa put in 2 world-class performances? I'm talking about making saves that you go, wow. Look at what Alisson has done, for Liverpool. Look at what Edison has done at times. What Petr Cech used to do. All these great goalkeepers that keep you in games, make saves that you go, wow. How did he manage to keep that out? Yep. Kepa lets in goals that you would expect a good goalkeeper to save. And the price tag is irrelevant. The pressure is that you need to perform because you're at a big club. And I don't think his skill set is good enough to live up to the standard. And
you can always take Jurgen Klopp and what he did with Karius. The moment he made one blunder in the preseason, he just got rid of him, and that changed the club's dynamics completely. We spoke about, Lampard.
Pep Guardiola did it. Pep Guardiola brought,
with Claudio Bravo, correct.
He got rid of Joe Hart, he brought in Bravo, and then he got rid of Bravo because he wasn't good enough. But sometimes you have to just say, that's it.
So has Lampard made a mistake by not, getting more defenders or a good enough goalkeeper to replace Kepa?
No, I think defensively he'll be okay. Thiago Silva hasn't been in training long. I think he will add experience and he will add a calmness to their defending. You can play numerous players alongside, and you've then got the likes of, you might have Reece James, but it could be Azpilicueta. You can play 3 or 5 at the back. You've got Ben Chilwell to come in as well, injured. So Chelsea have some outstanding players. He's just got to fit them into a system and get them to gel. But I think over time that will be fine. But with the goalkeeper, Frank needs to change it very, very soon. He has to keep coming out in the press and saying, look, he's my number one. He's doing this until he gets somebody else in. Because it can't hang him out to dry. And he can't just say, right, that's it. Because you lose an awful lot of money on his resale value or you undermine him. What if you don't get another goalkeeper in? You might have to stick with him. But the moment that signing comes through the door, Kepa's number 2, if not number 3.
A friend of mine said that Kepa makes Moussa Taibi look like Peter Schmeichel. I'm not going to mention names, but we'll move on quickly over to Jose Mourinho and Tottenham. Yeah, a couple of players came in, as you mentioned. Gareth Bale has joined the squad, but is that good enough to get things going for Jose? Because that first game when they lost, it was like, yes. Oh my God, here we go again. Okay.
No, I think it is. You've got obviously a left back coming in as well. Fantastic experience, obviously Real Madrid and Sevilla, done very, very well. That enhances them. Their centre back pairing, I still have 1 or 2 questions over, and a little bit of pace in that area. Right back with Doherty, that's fantastic. Midfield, I think, is very, very good. You got Sissoko and possibly Højbjerg. And what Mourinho likes to do is defend with 6 and attack with 4. And suddenly now you look at Son on the left-hand side, Harry Kane down the middle, possibly Bergwijn or Moura down the right-hand side, and Gareth Bale as the number 10 in that free role.
Oh, he'll be 10, not on the left.
I think Mourinho might just say to him, look, just go and play in that Dele Alli role behind the striker. We've seen it before with players with Mourinho. He doesn't coach the front 4 players. He just says, go and play, express yourselves. The other 6 will do all the defending. And you 4, go and win us the games. He's done that time and time again. He loves a big player, and that might be Harry Kane and Gareth Bale. But I just think that dynamic that he has in that situation. Imagine Gareth Bale dropping in the hole, picking the ball up, turning, running at people. Creating this, arriving in the box late. He's fantastic in the air as well. You've got pace down the right-hand side in Bergwijn. You've got Son that can run in behind people. That's an incredibly scary front 4 players.
We got a minute and a half to talk about the guy who will not be playing there anymore, Dele Alli. Is he done at Tottenham?
I think he needs a fresh challenge. I think he needs to move on because obviously with the way that it's going, it doesn't look good for him. He wants to play for England still. He was left out of the last squad. He needs a move away and quickly to rediscover his verve, rediscover his form, and get that passion, that energy back, and back to where he was playing 2 or 3 seasons ago.
All right, Danny, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you very much. I shall see you next week, for the show, and hopefully have some juicy updates for us. Thank you very much, my friend. Don't forget to catch all the talking points and all the highlights on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page. Till the next time, take care.